Looking back at the Tennessee-South Carolina game, let's jump in the hot tub with Coop. Coop, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
What down, Coop?
Coop here. First down.
Thanks, Coop. By the way, go ahead and post on the message board. Play along here because we want this to be about you as much as anything. Let's start with when we look back at the Tennessee-South Carolina game, who was the standout? That's first down. Who was the standout? Who was the difference against the Gamecocks? I'll ask you first, Caleb.
Well, I mean, I don't even think that's much of a question. It was obviously Dalton Connect going 5 of 11 from 3 with 26 points. However, the underrated low-key standout was Josiah-Jordan James. He only had 6 points. He wasn't good from the field, 0 of 3, but Tennessee won this game with defense, and Josiah-Jordan James locked down the interior, did a very good job with that. And I think the most important part about it is that you have to give Rick Barnes credit here, which we'll talk about later in the show, but Lamont Paris, and I think you and I agree, is just an amazing coach, right? What he's doing in South Carolina is just nothing short of phenomenal.
Liked him a lot at UTC, Chattanooga, and what he did there. Yes, I think he's a bright young coach that might even be in the NBA one day.
I agree. His focus was to get Tennessee's bigs in foul trouble. So to try to get, that's how they beat Tennessee the first time. He was focused on drawing contact and manipulating the refs, yes, but I don't blame coaches for manipulating the refs if you know refs are bad, to try to get Adu in foul trouble. This time around, Barnes made a switch and kind of focused on using Josiah-Jordan James to play the defense in the perimeter a lot more to make sure Adu stayed out of foul trouble. And James went straight up most of the time. And this time, the refs did not fall for South Carolina trying to draw contact constantly. That's why you'll see South Carolina fans complain about the free throw disparity. The reason that free throw disparity was there was because South Carolina kept purposely trying to draw contact. And refs realized that, so they actually called the foul on who it should have been on, which was South Carolina.
I heard a ref at one point say,
They're like, that is total bullshit.
No, I'm not kidding.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Dalton Connect's greatest attribute is his feel for the game. It's not a shooting touch. It's not its ability to use both hands. It's not ability to dribble. It's the feel for the game. He knows not only when he's needed, but where he's needed. And he was needed to shoot 3-pointers last night. They were going to collapse back and not let him beat him to the rim as often as he had previously versus Auburn, for instance. And his greatest attribute is his feel for the game. He needed to be a 3-point shooter last night. That's exactly what he was.
Yeah, you are right. And what have we said the whole time? Tennessee's formula to win: Jonas Adu has to score under the basket. Zakiya Ziegler has to slash and be great in transition. Josiah-Jordan James has to play defense. Dalton Connect has to score whenever the offense breaks down, and he's their go-to. And then they have to find the hot hand from 3, whoever that may be. And sometimes that hot hand is their top scorer in Dalton Connect. And that was Connect last night. He was their hot hand. And they went to him. They went to the well, and he was unstoppable shooting from 3. This is the big thing for Tennessee. I think we're forgetting, because Dalton Connect is such a good scorer and Zakiya Ziegler is such a slasher and Josiah-Jordan James is a defensive specialist, that they have 4 options in their starting lineup and 2 on their bench, all of whom could have the hot hand from 3 in a game. They got 6 options. One of them is bound to have the hot hand every night from 3.
I totally agree. And the thing I love about Dalton Connect, talk about his feel for the game, he's okay being a dude. You know what I mean? He's okay being just one of the guys that scores 12 to 14. I mean, he can do that if you need him to, if everybody tries to double up him in the NCAA tournament. But at this point, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think Tennessee's too deep and too good. More thoughts on Connect?
That's a great point. You're right. Connect is the lead scorer because he has to be, but he doesn't ask to be. And if he doesn't need to be, he won't require it. Kind of reminds me of, it's funny, it's a totally different position, but do you remember Kevin Garnett, the way he played in the NBA? Like, Kevin Garnett, a lot of times had to be the go-to scorer for Minnesota, but do you remember that he wanted to just be a regular guy in the starting lineup a lot of times and just be one of the teammates?
Yes, and that leads me to something that could get us in trouble. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. What down is it, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Who takes the last shot in a close game? Is it definitely Dalton, or is it who's open? Because there's a big difference. Gotcha a little bit, right? You could rotate it around. You could have the person take the open shot, or you could say Dalton take it, and probably have a 50% chance of converting.
I think it's 70-30 Dalton. And the only reason, and I say 70-30, because there are moments it depends.
You qualified my question, but I think you did a good job of it.
Because, okay, Dalton Wright, if you guys have been watching him, it's kind of like Michael Jordan always took the last shot for the Bulls, but then there were times where he was like, Steve Kerr's open because they're collapsing on me every time, or John Paxson is open because they're collapsing on me every time. That's been Dalton Connect the last few games. Okay, he's been drawing 3 guys every time he touches the ball. So last night, the key play of the game last night, I don't know if you guys remember, South Carolina cut it to 3. We knew they were going to. It was 59-56 late in the game. Tennessee needed a bucket to hold on to the lead. They give Dalton the ball at the top of the key, and you can tell they're just like, Dalton, get us out of this. South Carolina draws 3 guys onto him. Dalton makes the perfect pass to find Ado in the middle of the paint. And Ado goes up, draws a foul, hits 1 or 2 free throws. That makes it a 2-score game again. So in that instance, Dalton was the guy they were going to. But if 3 guys collapse on you, someone's open, you know?
We're going to do something different. You can vote on the YouTube channel, and the selection for our poll question is what, Caleb? It is on our YouTube channel. People can vote right there. What have we got? You're looking snazzy, by the way. I just want to compliment you on that.
Thank you. So the poll question is who this Tennessee basketball team is your all-time favorite, one of the greats, or are you in wait and see mode?
Okay, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that. It'll be 4th Down with Caleb Calhoun. I'm Dave Hooker. 4 Downs presented by our good friends at Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is in Athens. Then they deliver. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. 30 seconds. I'm going to tell you why this team's a little bit different. Having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And then delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemished models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas. What down is it, Goop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th Down.
Thank you. And check out that Dynasty Pools and Spas. Mention Off the Hook Sports. Get $500 off of your spa. Now, the question that's on the poll question is going to be 4th Down as well. This Tennessee basketball team is my all-time fave, 46%. Another great team, 29%. I have to wait and see without saying the regular season Rick. I didn't want to say that. Okay, but you have those 3 to choose from. Now, you're an objective journalist, so I'm not asking you to say this is your all-time fave, but how should Tennessee fans view this team? People can vote, again, on our YouTube page right now. This Tennessee basketball team is my all-time fave. Another great team. I'll have to wait and see. You?
I think it's got to be another great team. I don't think anything can surpass the love that was had for that 07-08 team that reached number 1 and won the SEC regular season title short of a national championship or a Final Four berth. And the reason I say that is that team was not they did not have number 1 talent with Chris Lofton and Jawan Smith and Tyler Smith. That was a collection of, and we have a friend of the show in Fred White who doesn't like this term, but it's true. That was a collection of overachievers. Everybody on that team was. And I think because, Chris Lofton, too small to play in the NBA. Jawan Smith was a walk-on, worked his way into the starting lineup. I mean, Tyler Smith, undersized power forward. It was just, and they go to 31-5. They beat Memphis. I mean, you can't not love that team. And then the team 2 years later that made the Elite Eight has to be the competitor for the all-time favorite, because that team in the middle of the season lost its best player in Tyler Smith, and because of a gun charge, and then still made the Elite Eight, had the furthest NCAA tournament run ever. I mean, you got to love those 2 teams.
Kalen says one of the great teams, hard to say it's the greatest. Well, I'm just talking about favorite. That's
we're
different.
saying favorite.
Yeah, because you have a really unique storyline of this kid coming out of nowhere and he's one of the best scorers in the nation. And then you have a team of good kids. Can I tell a quick Dalton Connect story?
Sure.
So nowadays, guys come out of the stadium and the arena, and if you ask for an autograph, now the only time I've ever been around somebody asking for an autograph is when my son Trammell was 12 years old, and he got an autograph from Cam Sutton, who had an interception against a lowly opponent in September. I can't remember. But nevertheless, he got an autograph signed. Of course, Cam didn't ask for any money because it's against NIL rules back then. Nowadays, guys come out, not necessarily Tennessee basketball players, but most athletes come out and they expect money. Can I tell you that Dalton Connect turned down money when somebody asked for his autograph? Said, no, thank you. I'm good. I'll pass. Because he knows he's going to be rich in the in the NBA. Caleb, this is not only, I've done some digging because I don't want to prop up a guy who's not a good character guy. This is an absolute character guy that's every bit as good of a dude as he is as a basketball player, and that's saying something.
I agree. He's a very good guy, and the way he plays with Tennessee, you wouldn't realize he's just in his first year, like just a transfer. You wouldn't think that. Like you would think he's been like a 4-year guy, but like, yeah, I agree. Dalton he does make you love this team. It's just, but Dave, that doesn't outweigh Chris Lofton playing with testicular cancer.
I agree. Now, I'm totally going to go to the left field. My favorite's the Ron Slay teams. I mean, he was such a good quote. I know that I'm in a different position because I covered those teams. And the trailer
and the fans did not like a lot of those teams.
I know. In the trailer 3, I loved because every time you're like, don't take it, Ron. And he would hit it half the time. So that was my all-time favorite team. I'll have to be honest with you. By the way, the spread last night was what, Caleb?
It was 5.5. Tennessee covered.
Tennessee did cover, and I tell you what, I thought they played incredibly well down the stretch. Did you have a point in which you thought that Tennessee game was out of hand, that the Vols could actually lose, or did you feel confident pretty much the whole time? I'll remind you that is brought to you, and Caleb's comments brought to you in part by our good friends at BetUS. Again, BetUS has 3 times you can make the deposit, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, and 10% gambler's insurance. That's pretty awesome. Again, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposit. The link is right down there, so click on it now. We thank BetUS for being a part of the program. Caleb, did you ever think that Tennessee was going to lose that game?
Not after the first 5 minutes, no. When Tennessee started to really pull away, I knew South Carolina wasn't the type of team equipped to really make a comeback. Even when they cut it to 3 late, I just felt with the flow of the game, Tennessee had control. So I didn't really think Tennessee was going to lose that game. I thought that this team, and we're going to get to this in the next couple of segments, but I thought this team, they're just so experienced and they're so veteran lean that they never really panicked when it got cut to 3. And even at that point when it did, I just felt that, South Carolina is, we're kind of forgetting this. And this is why I keep hailing how great of a coach Lamont Paris is. You watched him last night, Dave. They're challenged offensively, aren't they? They're really challenged.
They're challenged athletically.
Yeah, they are. So the only way they win is with elite defensive schemes. So I knew that it was going to be with down 3 with Tennessee having the ball and a minute left. I didn't think South Carolina had enough to be able to score twice to do that. So I thought Tennessee was pretty safe.
Yep, I thought they were in good shape.